Hey guys, welcome back to Building a Brand episode 2. Today we're going to talk about naming your brand, trademarking, and all about funding. I just wanted to quickly say thank you to everyone who watched episode 1. If you guys missed it, I'll link it below. I'm really excited about this series and thank you guys for all the feedback and for all the comments. I actually waited to film episode 2 because I wanted to see some comments before, just in case I need to adjust anything. And so far everyone has been enjoying it, so I just want to say thank you. I'm so glad that it's helping some of you guys out as well. So without further ado, we're going to get into episode 2. So number 1 is naming your brand. I feel like this is one of those things that should be simple, but people complicate it a little bit because I feel like most people overthink it, including myself. It took us a while to come up with the name Persona. Just simplify it and bring it back to what your business is about. I think the most important thing here is to make sure that you pick a name that is easy to pronounce. Number 2 is you want to make sure that it tells some sort of a story. You don't have to. I mean, not every single brand, of course, tells a story, but I think the powerful brands do tell a story. So for example, Persona, the reason why we came up with it, a lot of people think it's because it has my name in it, and actually that's not the case. It was kind of a pleasant surprise that it has my name in it. But we chose the name Persona because you can be different personas with makeup. You can be sexy, you can be cute, you can be innocent, you can be, just like no makeup. It just tells a whole different story about yourself and a whole different persona. So I feel like it really tells a story and it kind of ties back into the brand. Another reason why I think it's important to tell a story with your brand name is because you can use it in so many different ways. For example, for us, we use it sometimes in captions, like we'll say whatever the caption is, and then at the end we'll be like, what's your persona? And again, ties back into the brand, tells a story. So I think it's really cool if you can come up with a name that tells a story. So now that you have your name and you're happy with it, you want to make sure that it is available. You can go on uspto.gov and under trademarks, you can check to see if that name has been trademarked before or not. And just so you guys know, there are different categories under trademarks. So Persona Cosmetics is trademarked under beauty, and no one else can start like a beauty company with our name just because it is trademarked. However, there can be a car company and they can trademark Persona cars. So the word cosmetics can't be trademarked, but the word persona under cosmetics can, if that makes sense. It's a little complicated, but once you get into it, you'll kind of get an idea. So when you're checking the trademarks, I just wanted to mention that. So in case you do see that name, you don't kind of freak out because it could be under a different category and you still might be able to trademark it under a different category. So keep that in mind. So if your trademark is available, you're good to go, you're in business. Now you need to actually form a business. So the way to do this, the easiest way to do this is through a CPA. So you get a CPA and they'll advise you what kind of business to form. So there's so many different types. Corporation, and then there's C Corp, S Corp, there's so many, LLC. Obviously, we're not experts, so you should probably hire a CPA to handle that because you don't want to start something that may not be the right thing for your business. So getting a professional to help you form the business is probably my best advice. Can you do it yourself? Yes, we actually did ours. I shouldn't say we because KB did it. He did ours and he was able to do it again through research and just figuring things out on his own. Okay, so now that you have your business name, hopefully you are in the process of trademarking it and you've already formed a business. Now it is time to figure out funding. How are you going to fund this business? You might have an amazing idea, so don't let funding stop you. So let's talk about the 3 different ways you can fund your own business. So number 1, it's self-funding if you can afford it. Now, some businesses don't need as much funding as others. For example, if you're offering your services, you might not need as much money to start the business, so you might just be able to fund it yourself. But of course, if you're going into a product category and development, that's when you're going to need a little bit of money. So when it comes to self-funding, one thing I recommend is to make sure that you have enough money in the bank to be able to continue the business and fund it, not just the first round. You never know how your first product is going to do. You never know how your second or third is going to do. But if you're confident confident in the idea and you're confident in the business and you just need a little bit of time, you want to make sure that you're able to fund it, to make sure that you don't lose the business kind of like halfway through because you run out of money. So make sure that you have sufficient funds if you are going to self-fund. So there are two ways you can go about raising money. We haven't raised any money. Like I said, we are still self-funded. So I'm not 100% sure about the process, but from what I hear from friends in the industry and also just listening to so many podcasts is that raising money is not the easiest thing because you have to be ready to give up equity and you also have to be ready to answer to investors. From what I understand, there are quarterly reports, so you almost have to report to someone even though it's your business and your idea and you're running it, because at the end of the day, it's their money and they want to make sure they get reports from you to see how the business is doing and to make sure their money is safe in a sense. So you can either raise money from VCs or you can raise it from friends and family. Of course, it's going to be a little bit easier to raise money from friends and family because they know you, they trust you. So you'd be surprised how many people would be willing to give you some money in exchange for equity in your business. And I think the whole reporting process is a little bit easier from what I understand because, you know, friends and family hopefully know you and trust you enough to kind of let you run with it and do your thing. So I guess I would recommend family and friends before VCs. Again, no experience there in all transparency. So that's just all the information I have on that. But if that's also not an option, the third option would be to get a loan. Do I recommend this? Probably not, but sometimes you have no choice and you need to get a loan to, you know, get things started because maybe for some reason you weren't able to raise money from VCs or from friends and family. And so this is literally your only option. So you can try to get a loan from a bank. Most likely the interest rate's going to be a little bit high and you're probably not going to get as much, but it is doable. People get loans all the time and start things off that way. So just so you know, that's also an option. You can go from bank to bank, get rates, and see who's willing to give you some money to start your business. So this wraps up episode 2. I really hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something from it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you guys missed episode 1, it's all about your reason, your purpose, and asking your why. It's a very important episode, so I'd highly recommend checking that out. Of course, I'll have that linked below. And then next Wednesday, we're going to be talking about finding a manufacturer and product development if you're in the business of producing goods. So if you're interested in that, come back next Wednesday because we're going to really dive deep and tell you guys all the secrets. I feel like this was the hardest part for us, is like, how do we even find a lab? How do we go about this? So I'm going to answer all of that in next week's episode. So make sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss it. And I will see you at 8 a.m. Pacific next Wednesday. Bye guys. Mwah.